Let's start it off. People still come in. That's fine. Good. Welcome, everyone. Okay, I see this is still working. Okay, this is Lucid Dreaming Part 1. And just maybe a few things about myself. I'm Amber. I'm a celestial Western dragon. And I'm from Germany. So if you hear some words pronounced strangely, you can keep them and sell them on eBay or something. Yeah. I'm a scientist in real life, so I really like to go into rabbit holes and go into complex stuff. You will maybe see that. The discussion for this panel, you can do the general chatter in the stage presentation chat, I think. Yes, there is one. But for the questions, please put them in panel discussion 2. Because it makes it easier for me to just see them and to pick them up. Okay, so as I said, this is Lucid Dreaming Part 1. I was originally planning to do only one panel, but it turned out that it's quite a lot, so I decided to split it up. So thanks for Lunastre and the staff team for making it possible. I really love this summit for being so flexible. I think it's not the usual way. So that's great. And I think we'll have some more time for questions this way. So the plan for today is to cover the basics for those who are new to the subject. And tomorrow in part 2, I will talk about my own experiences, some undocumented findings that might be important, and also some ideas for Draconic lucid dreamers. So, why is this topic interesting at all? Now, if you would ask me, Amber, what's the best way to explore your true self? I would maybe answer with a list of things about lucid dreaming would be on there, definitely, maybe even on top of it. I'll explain why in just a minute, but first let's do some definitions. So usually a lucid dream is defined as a dream in which the dreamer becomes aware they are dreaming. It's also often mentioned that the dreamer has at least some extent of control over the dream when they are becoming lucid. So, for example, modifying the dream setting, summing up objects, and so on. But I think that still falls short of the true nature of lucid dreams. In an ideal lucid dream, your awareness will be so high that the dream world just feels like reality. So all your senses will be there. You can have the most colorful vision, you can hear, you can touch and smell everything. You'll be able to move around, interact with dream entities, just as you would in the waking world. And that's what I understand as the perfect lucid dream. But of course, that is very advanced and very hard to achieve. My own experience is not all that advanced. I did enough lucid dreams to know that they can feel ultra realistic, but I'm not able to keep lucid for too long. And so those dreams are not very stable. So I'm a beginner, without a question. But still, I'm lucky to have had experienced quite a few lucid dreams in the last years, even without training them. They were short, they were rare and irregular, but they were enjoyable. Sometimes they were even stunning. Then, at the end of December last year, I had one that struck me. It really struck me down. You have to know I'm usually having out of body experiences during lucid dreams, and that time it wasn't different. Yeah, so I was lying in my bed, got lucid, and I could stand up and walk to my bedroom. I was hearing some strange music and searched for the source. So I found some kind of phone device in my bedroom and picked up the phone. And at the other side, there was there was a girl named Britta. And yeah, we chatted a bit about dragons and things being quite chaotic right now. And well, it was only 10 seconds, but what really struck me was the level of realism that came with it. It just felt like a perfectly normal, absolutely real phone call, just like in the waking state, and that was totally stunning. Uh, I don't know I don't know who Brita is. I don't know if she's from a different dimension or something. I had no idea, but it certainly felt like a phone call to another world. Um, so I decided if lucid dreams can be that real, I have to learn this, and that's what brought me here. Okay, so maybe just take the chance to put a question in the chat because I would be interested if anybody got any lucid dreams. I will put the question in panel discussion too. Just give me a reaction if you already had one. Okay, so lucid dreaming, it has a long history. We know that Greek philosophers already described becoming conscious in their dreams. But, well, as happens all too often, this knowledge got buried by modern materialism and science and so on. And still today, some people think that lucid dreaming is actually a myth. Science used to deny the possibility that you could become conscious in your dreams, but nowadays it's scientifically proven. And it's a topic of modern research as well. A major part of what I'll present today is from a book by Stephen LeBerg. It's called Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming. And I think it's more or less a standard work. I didn't read it fully because, well, the first part contains essential techniques to get lucid. And the second half focuses on lucid dream applications, and it features a lot of dream reports. I'm not so much interested in that. I got another book from Robert Wagner, Lucid Dreaming, Gateway to the Inner Self, and I think that's another quite well-known name in the lucid dreaming scene. I didn't start to read that yet because I just wanted to learn about the techniques first. I see there are some reactions coming in. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. Yeah. So lucid dreaming it's really not that rare, but most of the time it happens. Well, just spontaneously. So just a few words about applications because I think it's important to know what you can use lucid dreams for. It just highlights the power of the lucid dreaming. Yeah. So many people use it just for fun. I mean, you can fly around there. You can do anything that's funny, basically. But you can also do some more serious stuff. You can solve problems. You can get inspiration if you're an artist, musician or something. Or you can, of course, learn about yourselves because, well, dreaming is known to be a gateway to the subconscious, and the lucid dream is probably one of the best ways to interact with your subconscious. You can also learn real-world skills because in a lucid dream, the brain performs the same activity as in the waking state. Well, at least it tries that. That means if you practice dance move, for example, your brain will generate signals to your muscles that are the same as in the waking state. The muscles just don't move because they are disabled during sleep by sleep paralysis. So that's something that we might remember tomorrow when I'll be talking about some specific things doing in lucid dreams. Lucid dreams have also been used for healing. Today's dream research even considers clinical applications, in particular for treating anxiety, nightmares, and even PTSD. LeBerg states that anything treatable with hypnotherapy can be treated with lucid dreams as well. So you'll find a lot of papers when you Google for it, a lot of scientific stuff. There's YouTube channels dedicated to the topic, and there's many people offering training seminars for lucid dreaming. So basically, that's all around. Yeah. Okay, so now how does it work? how can you become conscious within your dream? Let's take a look at how sleeping and dreaming works in general. So most of you will have heard about the REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. The famous sleep phase where all the dreams happen and your eyes move around quickly. But of course, that's not the only sleep phase. In addition, there are 3 non-REM or NREM phases. And that's pretty much the point where I should show a slide. Let's see if this works again. Okay, I hope you can see it. So, the NREM phases. So, if you go to sleep, the first phase you reach is called NREM 1. And that is called the hypnagogic state as well. This occurs when falling asleep, and it can include vivid and brief dreamlets and other sensations. For example, strange sounds, hallucinations, and the dreaded sleep paralysis. Yeah, the state where you cannot move but hear things, which can get pretty uncomfortable. Also, out-of-body experiences were reported in that state. And then after a time that LaBerge just calls quick, you reach NREM 2, and that is described as a transitional phase with sparse and thought-like mental activity. So you can see there is still some level of consciousness there. This helps in some memory consolidation, and it's said to make up about 50% of total sleep time under standard conditions. But to be honest, I don't know how that comes about, because the timing, I just can't put it together. I mean, I'll tell more about it in a minute. So, supposedly after 20 or 30 minutes, you reach NREM 3, and that is deep sleep. That is a dreamless phase, and you don't have consciousness in that phase. Science says that memory consolidation, tissue and muscle repair, and brain detox happens in that phase. So that is pretty important. And it's also quite hard to wake up from this phase. That's why it's called deep sleep. So then after 50 to 60 minutes, typically, of NREM 3, you reach the famous REM phase. And that lasts for 5 to 10 minutes, but to be honest, yesterday I've read that it can last even longer, about 40 minutes or something. So you really have to treat those times with care. Most of the dreams we have occur in the REM phase, and especially lucid dreams. LaBerge states that lucid dreams happen in the REM state exclusively. Okay, NREM 1 and 2, they are considered light sleep, and they are not vital for the body functions, while NREM 3 and REM are vital. Okay, the times that I just mentioned are apparently unknown from brainwave measurements that can be used for differentiating dream phases. For example, NREM 3 is characterized by a high delta wave activity. I don't know what it is. I'm not a neurologist, so no idea. REM is also characterized by these signature eye movements, and you can also measure them. So during one single night, you normally cycle through the phases one after another. If you have made one REM phase, you get back to NREM 2, or if you wake up a bit more, NREM 1. And the REM phases, they get longer as the cycle count increases. So they are longest in the early morning. The total cycle takes roughly 90 minutes. So usually if you sleep for 8 hours, you can do 5 cycles. But as I said, this timing, it's not set in stone at all. There seems to be very great variety depending on the conditions. In particular, the timing will be off if you wake up by an external event and get back to sleep. Usually what happens is that the brain will pick up the cycle that was interrupted. Yeah, so if you then get back to sleep, you don't start at the beginning, but you can reach the REM phase much quicker. Also, if you are sleep deprived, or if you apply a non-standard sleep pattern, as I do, then the timing will be different, because if things get tight, the brain will prioritize NREM3 and REM because they are so vital. And that means that you can reach REM in under 25 minutes, which is called sleep onset REM, or SOREM. And that behavior can be used to foster lucid dreams, of course, which happen in the REM state. So, okay, prior to LeBerg's research, science believed that in the REM state there can also be no consciousness. And that would have rendered lucid dreams impossible, of course. LeBerg proved that this is wrong by giving signals from within the lucid dream. And for that, he used quick eye movements that another scientist, who was awake, of course, could measure. It works because if you move your eyes in a lucid dream, they also move in reality. And the same is true for the breath. Whereas all the other muscles are normally inactivated by sleep paralysis. Well, unless you are sleepwalking, of course. Okay, let me just stop the streaming because there are no more slides for now. So, what does one dream about? Well, LeBerg states that it's always a combination of schemas from the unconscious that are triggered and put into a context. The question is, which schemas are triggered? It seems to depend on your expectation, motivation, and desires, and oftentimes your recent experiences in the waking state. I mean, we all know that if you are stressed with some topic and then next night you dream about it, that's totally normal. So I think that makes sense. Schemas are often compiled to complex storylines. Also makes sense. I mean, some of my dreams you could really make Hollywood movies from. Yeah, so it can get really complex. Interesting thing, the brain normally assumes that it is awake even during standard non-lucid dreams. And that means that the dream scene is somehow distorted, somehow adapted to fit that assumption that you are actually awake. It means that bizarre dream events may be put into a plausible context, yeah, just to make them plausible. And that is also important for using lucid dreams. If we are talking about modifying the dream scene, I found that it might be hard to create a dream scene that contradicts your expectancy. For example, being a dragon in your living room. Well, you usually don't experience yourself as a dragon in a living room, yeah, not having a dragon body, but having a human body. So that might be hard to achieve in a lucid dream as well. LeBerg states that the slogan, "If you think you can't, is directly valid in a lucid dream. Okay, so even if you remember your dreams well, there is a difference between waking consciousness and dream experience, and that is basically you lack critical awareness. And that relates to a part of the brain that is inactive normally during sleep. This part correlates to what is called critical faculty. And I think that one is really, really important. The critical faculty is what makes us question if what we sense is plausible and matches our expectation. When we are awake, that happens all the time. Yeah, you're all the time checking if what you see and smell and hear, if does it make sense or not. Let me just switch off my headphones here. Okay. So when we're dreaming, this critical faculty is normally inactive. We know that, or science knows that, because it's possible to to activate that critical faculty by stimulating a certain region of the brain. And neurologists, they can do that. So if they do that, and the people are dreaming, of course, the dreamers get lucid and stay lucid as long as this region is activated. So in order to get lucid, the key is to activate the critical faculty or prevent it from getting inactive in the first place. And the theory is that if you do that, you can then check for signs that you are dreaming. And that is, in other words, performing dream checks or reality checks. And then you will recognize that you are dreaming and gain full awareness of the dream scene. And then you will become fully lucid. That's the chain of action. And just a sneak preview, I think there is some point missing here. I think there is something that needs to be done in addition to get lucid. But I'll come back to it tomorrow. Okay. So, how to train this? First of all, there is no one-fits-all technique. I mean, this is pretty often the case when it comes to mental stuff. And so there's a plethora of techniques that are available. If you Google for lucid dreaming, you will find stuff to no end. And these techniques, they are all slightly different. I will just highlight the common things here. So most of the techniques circulate around setting an intention to become lucid and maintaining that intention during the sleep. It mostly relies on trying to create habits in the waking world that persist into the dream world. Second, the training needs diligence and the will to do things that don't feel comfortable. Mostly waking up or even getting out of your warm and cozy bed at times when you don't really want to. So even if lucid dreaming is deemed just as recreational for the brain as non-lucid dreams, exercising them takes additional time during the night, so it needs some effort. And it is recommended to get plenty of sleep. So that's actually the second learning. And after that, there is no one-fits-it-all technique. You just need to get lots of sleep. And that might actually be something I'm doing wrong. Yeah. Especially since I'm back in office, I think I just don't sleep enough. There's another thing. It seems to be important to not try too hard. And it's always like that. Things take time. That's just normal. Okay, so how to start it? The first thing that is always recommended is to have a dream diary. Well, it's the standard thing. It just improves your dream memory. You are to learn how your dreams typically look like and what makes them dreamlike. And you are to increase your dream awareness. That is a prerequisite to lucid dreaming. Dreams are usually only remembered when we wake up. So some people propose to set an alarm clock at the supposed end of the REM periods, but I would strongly advise against that because, the timing is so inconsistent. You'll constantly wake yourself up at the wrong time. I don't like it. I just do it. I don't do it. I actually wait until I wake up myself, which usually works. But dream memory, it fades very quickly. So you cannot wait until the morning. But you just have to write down at least a few bullet points during the night directly when you wake up. So when you wake up, you should actually not move much, because that also makes dream memory fade. But you should try and very actively remember your last dream and somehow reconstruct the dream. What happened last? What can you remember last? What happened before? And so on and so on. And the next step is even more inconvenient. You have to get up and grab your dream diary and write at least some bullet points to have something to extend in the morning. Yeah, to have something to expand on. And so you have to switch on the light. You have to grab a pen and so on. You have to you have to wake up just a bit more. And of course, yeah, that's a bit inconvenient if you just want to sleep through the night. Yeah, so well. Anyhow, if you have done that a couple of times and have written down a few dreams, at least 12, that's the proposal, then you can review them and identify dream signs. Yeah, signs that show you that you are dreaming. Those dream signs, they are very individual. So it's important to build up your own dream inventory, dream sign inventory. Laberge classifies dream signs into 4 classes, which are inner awareness. That means unusual thoughts, unusual perceptions or emotions that happen in the dreamer's mind, but don't manifest in the dream world. Second, action. That is dream characters doing something odd or impossible. Third, there's form. Dream characters or objects that are oddly formed or transform, having unusual clothing, also unusual brand names. I mean, if you drive a Toyota car, you in a dream you will find Toyama instead of Toyota, so something like that. And then the 4th class is context. That means dream characters playing some unaccustomed role or appearing at unusual places, deceased people occurring in dreams, odd situations, socially abnormal dream places or abnormal time periods. So if you take a look at your own dream signs, you will find that most of them should fit into one of the classes. Yeah, in my case, it was quite well distributed, but many of mine fall into the context class. Okay, so as soon as you found that out, the next step is to make it a habit for checking in your waking life for events that fit into the same class. So, for example, let's say your dream signs fall into the action class, then you want to keep checking the behavior of the people around you for any oddities. And if you spot an oddity, you are to do a dream check. So what is that? A dream check, it is an action to confirm whether or not you are dreaming. And there is a plethora of ways to do that. It can be done by, well, trying to levitate. That usually works for me if I'm dreaming, but of course not if I'm awake. You can try to phase through objects. You can try to check the stability of your environment. For example, by looking at a word which is written somewhere, and then you look someplace else, and then you again look at the word, and it should not change if you are awake. Yeah, in the dream, they usually change. They often do that. So that's the strange thing about the waking reality. It's just so insanely stable. That's usually not the case in dreams. Okay, there's a couple of other recommendations if you want to have more lucid dreams, which are meditation. It always helps to have a calm mind. It's also good, according to Laberge, to set goals and to record your progress. And finally, it is recommended to change your sleep pattern. And that's time for the second slide. Let me again share my screen. Okay, here it comes. All right, so hang on. Okay, so you should see some graphics now that look like watches, yeah, and those are indicating sleep patterns. On the left side is a standard sleep pattern, 8 hours of sleep, and you have a bit more than 5 cycles, yeah, so 5 1/3 cycle or something. Okay, so hang on, let me pick up the script. Okay, on the right side, you see something that is called wake back to bed. And the idea is that you'd split up your total sleep time into two periods. One 6-hour period, and then you make a pause in which you actually wake up and move around of about 1 hour. It can be longer, it can be 2 hours, it can be shorter. It's again very individual. You have to try it out. And then you go back to bed and sleep another about 2 hours. Yeah. Can be longer, can be a bit shorter. I think it should be 2 hours at least. So that's called wake back to bed. And the idea is that during the break, you can set your intention for having a lucid dream in this 2 hours period. And if you remember that REM phases get longer as more cycles you do, and are longest in the morning, the hope is that in this 2 hour lucid dream target period, you will have a pretty long REM period. Yeah, so you can have a really long lucid dream. Okay. Again, this is a technique that I find it not too comfortable, because you have to get up earlier than usual. You have to be awake for a while, and then you have to go to bed again. Well, of course, you get what I mean. Okay. Apart from all of that, there is a plethora of other techniques that are used, hang on, to induce lucid dreams, either directly from the waking state, and that is called wake-induced lucid dreaming, or from non-lucid dream states, and that is called dream-induced lucid dreaming. Actually, the abbreviations I didn't mention are WILD and DIALed. Yeah, I might mention them sometimes. Okay, so I won't go into too much details for reasons of time here, but general approaches for dials, for dream-induced lucid dreams. Let's see. You can do regular waking world dream checks. They can be triggered by waking world events, usually dream signs. But you can also say, okay, I'll do a dream check every time I walk through a door, or something similar. You can also say, okay, I'll do a dream check at the beginning of each hour. So anything, it depends on the technique. Then you can also visualize dream scenes that would lead to lucidity. So visualize any typical dream scene with a dream sign, and you just imagine, okay, now I'm actually triggered by that dream sign, and do a dream check, and then I get lucid. So that seems to help. Also, it seems to help imagining how the waking world would look like if it was a dream. So that is imagining dream signs put into the waking world. And then setting the intention to become lucid seems to be important, especially when you go to bed. And this is usually done by silently repeating an affirmation. Yeah, just like a mantra. Yeah, well, the easiest one would be, I would like to become lucid now in this coming night. Yeah. And you do that until you fall asleep, so that the affirmation is the last thing you think about, which is of course quite hard to do. Yeah. And the last thing, some techniques are also working with being aware that all experiences are of the subject of dreams, because all experience is mind created. That is some concept known from Buddhism, and it might also help. So, depending on the technique, the practices are executed either in the waking state or during brief wake-up periods at nighttime. And the general goal is to do in-dream dream checks, conclude that one is dreaming, and become lucid with that. Just one example of a very complex technique that LeBerg calls very effective. It is named mnemonic-induced lucid dreaming, or MILD. And that's a two-stage technique. It relies on training to remember to carry out actions triggered by events that lie in the future. Now, how does it look like? You first train it in the waking state, and it goes like this. First, you prepare yourself a list of events, 4 events per day of the week. And the events are formulated as, for example, next time I see a bird, or next time I hear a female voice, and so on. And then at the beginning of each day, you memorize the 4 events for that day. You look out for them happening during the day, and you perform a dream check the first time any of those events occur. The rules are you are only allowed to memorize all the 4 events once in the morning, and if you miss the first occurrence of any event, the event detection for that one is failed. If you detect an event successfully, you get a point. So you can see that you can gather a maximum of 4 points for the 4 events per day. And this is to be continued until you can detect most of the events successfully. And now you see that this is, well, it's hard. I've tried it. It's possible, but it's hard. So if you succeeded doing that, it can be applied to lucid dreaming, and it goes as follows. When you go to sleep, you set the intention to wake up and remember your dreams. When that happens, when you wake up, you remember the last dream you had in as much detail as possible. Yeah, so just lying there, not moving about much, just remembering your last dream, reconstructing it. Then you repeat in your mind the affirmation, next time I'm dreaming, I will recognize that I'm dreaming, until you fall asleep again. And in addition, you imagine to have become lucid during your last dream. Wow. Well, I would say that, I mean, there are much simpler techniques than that. But that one, it really, really highlights how much effort and diligence can be put into that training. So I think it's no wonder that not too many people go into it like that, because most of us, well, we're just happy enough to get a good night's sleep after all, yeah. So that definitely includes me. Okay, so to conclude, I talked about dream-induced lucid dreams now. So what about wake-induced lucid dreams, the wilds? LaBerge states that they occur by brief awakenings from and immediate return to REM sleep. Yeah, because LaBerge states that lucid dreams happen only in REM. I don't know why. He doesn't mention that wilds could also maybe happen during the hypnagogic NREM1 phase. To be honest, I don't know what's happening here. From my wilds, and I have quite a lot of them. It seems they are happening in the NREM1 phase, but I'm not sure. We'll see why tomorrow. I'm just not too sure about it. So LaBerge also states that wilds are much less frequent than dream-induced lucid dreams and require considerable practice. And for that, there is again a multitude of techniques. But the general idea is to keep your consciousness active while falling asleep. And that can be done by observing inner eye visuals. There are breathing techniques. You can do some counting. Yeah, count from 1 to I think 100 or something, and always check, am I sleeping already? You can try to have intentionally out-of-body experiences, and the techniques for that are very similar to those known from astral traveling, involving trying to roll out from your body, or roll out of your body, or fall through the mattress or something like that. Yeah, and there's actually many more. There's also many additional techniques for improving your lucid dream experience. For example, it's usual that for beginners, lucid dreams are very short. In my case, they usually last only a few seconds. Yeah, that can be solved or improved by practice. So techniques for staying lucid, they include in-dream affirmations, active interaction with the dream world, or creating fast movement. For example, there's a spinning technique where you in dream just spin around your own axis with your arms stretched out. It's supposed to help. It actually didn't work for me, but people say it helps. It's also possible to train improving your in-dream senses, to train to manipulate the dream world, so incubating or changing the dream location and setting, and also awakening at will. But of course, that is only useful if you can get lucid willingly. So I don't go into those techniques. Maybe it's something for a later panel. But as long as I still struggle with the basics, I think it doesn't make much sense to try them. Okay, so perfect. That is it for today. And I'll have a look at the chat because I see some questions. But for the time being, I hope you just have an idea about how difficult it is to learn lucid dreaming, but also why it is worth the effort, I think. Always remember that if one succeeds, then one could have a vivid inner world that feels as real as the waking world, and actually practically do anything in there. Yeah, so that is an incredible potential. I'm so fascinated by it. Okay. Tomorrow, just sneak preview, we will look at practical things, practical experiences, and of course then the really interesting stuff, applications for dragons. Yeah, so we'll be talking about flying and a bit and body transformation and doing dragonid things and how it works. Yeah, so okay. Hey, good. So let me check the chat. Hang on, let me scroll up. Okay, that was my question about the lucid dreaming. I've only ever had one, but it was quite lame. Yeah, I mean, if they happen rarely, then of course good ones are even more rare. Yeah. Okay. Oh, almost daily. Oh, well, that is great. You are blessed. Having lucid dreams daily. I've made it at the beginning of my training, but I couldn't make it afterwards. I don't know why. Okay, let's check for questions then. Delta waves are slow waves as the frequency is lower. Okay, I see. Alpha and beta waves are faster. Yes, so somehow you can see in the brain scan of what dream phase people are in. So there's a question, I think. If the brain picks up those cycles after being waken up and the REM cycle length is kept, is that also why dreams when going back to sleep are more likely? Oh yeah, yeah, it is. It actually comes about when you do the wake back to bed method. Yeah, so you can get into REM much faster. Yeah, actually, it is just like you describe it. Okay. Don't get dreams that I can remember. Yeah, that's why the dream diary is recommended. Yeah, usually it gets better. So dream memory can be trained. 90% of your dreams are about school, college, work. Yeah, me too. Also university, school. In my case, also being at my old parents' house. That's what always happens. And of course, it's difficult to find dream science in an environment where you well, may really be in. Yeah. Yeah, but usually strange things happen in my dreams. Yeah. For example, my colleagues from work might just work, but in my living room, which is pretty strange. So that's again a context thing, yeah, and it's a clear dream sign. Okay, just checking for more questions here. Counting the dreams have reality checks. Problem is that I'm apparently not allowed to lucid dream. Anytime I go lucid, I'm kicked from sleep. Yeah, that is an interesting observation. I have heard that, well, two things. Usually, dream characters, they either don't know that it's a dream, or they may be trying to convince you that you are not dreaming. They may be trying to kick you out of lucidity. That's something I've heard or read, yeah. So it almost sounds like there could be some kind of gatekeeping or security guard from your subconscious that might keep you from getting lucid. It didn't happen for me. Actually, for me, I've had it the other way around once. I met one time I met a dream character who actually hinted to me that I was dreaming. So that can also happen. And it's pretty strange. I don't know why, but definitely it might be possible that your subconscious somehow hinders you to get lucid. I don't know how to solve it. I just say it's possible. Okay. See. Yeah, remembering some stuff after waking up. You won't remember everything, of course, but you may be able to reconstruct your dreams after you wake up. Yeah, and some of the dreams are very so intense that you can't remember them perfectly. Well, it's really strange. Yeah. I don't know why that is, but it's the same for me. Finding if I come. Yeah, okay. If if you encounter something that cannot be real in dreams, you might wake up. Yeah, same for me. It's just I think it's a habit. So I think it could maybe trained away. But for me, if I find something in a dream that is really bothering me, or that surprises me, or that is just fearsome, I might wake up. And that is something I think I learned as a child. Force wake ups, I can do them pretty well. And sometimes they just happen, even if I don't intend, which is, of course, not so good if you want to lucid dream. But more on that tomorrow. Yeah, I'll tell you some experiences. Okay. Dream within a dream. Yes, there can be in dream wake ups. Definitely, I've had a lot of them during being a child. You can even have multiple of them within a single dream. So it works like that. You dream something, and then something outrageous happens, and then you wake up, but you wake up into another dream, and then you think that you have woken up in your bedroom, and then you spot something very strange, and then you wake up again, and that is completely annoying because you never know if you're actually really woken up. Yeah. Okay, so I learned to do force wake ups where I actually break through all these levels and then just wake up into reality at the end. Okay, yeah, about the astral projection thing. We have 10 more minutes, so I'll just explain. Of course, the question is, okay, what is the relation between dreaming, lucid dreaming, astral projection, and out-of-body experiences? Well, a friend of mine who is also very much into spirituality, he says that they are all on the same spectrum. Yeah, so he says lucid dreaming is one thing, and then if you go a bit further, you do astral projection, and of course out of body experiences come with astral projection because you leave your body somewhere. So these terms are more or less on some spectrum. Yeah, I mean, some of my lucid dreams, they could be called astral projections, I don't know, and they could be called out of body experiences, but still they happen while I'm technically asleep, so they are technically lucid dreams. Yeah. Okay. What do you mean by dream barrier? Maybe it was not too clear. I just meant that your subconscious may hinder you from becoming lucid. That's the barrier I meant. Barriers that separate reality. Yeah, I mean, they are also barriers like that, but I just meant that one. Okay, just checking if there are more questions. Super into lucid dreaming while being in fifth grade. Yeah, it's really a rabbit hole you can fall into, I think. Okay. I wonder if you can promote lucid dream when you get yourself into extreme exhaustion. So when you are lucid, your body actually cannot wake up. That's not my problem. It's it's just that my lucid dreams are very unstable. So I have to struggle to not wake up. And then Draconic says it's nobody within the dream that's doing it. Doing actually the hindering of becoming lucid. It's more like a force. That is interesting, because I've heard that within a lucid dream, you can talk to not only dream people, yeah, so people in the dream, but you can also talk to some kind of higher level force that seems to be all knowing about the dream. You can just ask a question to that force, and you can even ask that force to help you changing the dream scene. I've just read about it. I actually, yeah, I think I tried it once, but it didn't really work. The force didn't really do what I asked for. I do have a theory what force that is, but more about that tomorrow again. Yeah, okay. So what this is discussed a bit. Nightmares don't induce fear. Yeah, that's actually a good thing. I think many people have struggled with nightmares. Also, some people say going to sleep in dreams is dangerous. Is that true? I would say not. I don't think that anything you do in dreams is dangerous. There are also people who say that lucid dreaming is dangerous, but well, I don't think so. And LeBerg also states that it isn't dangerous. I mean, if you do something really dangerous, that you will just wake up. At least that's the case for me. Looping over a set of events over and over again, yeah, that's definitely a thing. Could be because of short-term memory failure. I don't know. Traumatic events, yeah, that might be a problem. Yeah, they might be blocking some dream content or getting lucid. I mean, this is all connected to the subconscious. What if it doesn't last long to talk? Yeah, yeah, it's a problem. I guess it could be tackled with training, but it might need some really diligent effort. I mean, I have a same problem actually, or a similar one. I don't get actually kicked out, but my lucid dreams are also very short. Okay, let's continue the discussion in the chat then. And I think the next panel is by the hour. So let's close the voice call for now so that we can all have a short break. And I see you tomorrow for the Lucid Dreaming 2, which is at the same time, same place as today. So thank you and see you tomorrow. Bye.